Hey everybody, what's up? We're back. It's those Western girls. It's your girl Krista B.
And Queen PR.
And today we have a fun episode. So for this summer, we are doing all Attitude Era episodes. Just something fun and light to lighten up the situation, things that's been going on in the world. We want to take you guys back, take you back to a time where we really didn't have to worry, take you back to childhood. So to kick off this series of Attitude Era episodes, P and I are going to do our very first episode, which is a spotlight episode on the one and only Jacqueline.
Yes.
Of course, we have to start with a black woman, and we're not ashamed to start with a black woman, and we're very excited on doing this episode on her. So, P, take it away, girl.
Yeah, I was excited too. And the funny thing is, we was gonna start with Trish and Lita, the usual,
Right.
And then we got a lot of feedback, and we thought about it, and we were like, we should cover the unsung heroes of the Attitude Era, the ones that don't get talked about, like Jacqueline, who's a black woman, and we're gonna cover Jazz at some point. So I'm glad that we decided to do Jacqueline, because I was looking back, and she's really pretty badass.
She's definitely badass. Like, she started off as a valet to Mark Marrow. I think it was kind of like to get back at Sable, but then like she started to come into her own, and when she started coming to her own, I was like, yo, like there's finally a little bit of representation. Like,
yeah,
she looks like me. Only part I was just like, why she got all the muscles? But as a kid, you're not gonna really care. Like, she's a black girl, she's wrestling. Like, that could be me. So seeing her in the ring, and like, she's really little. Like, she's a short woman, but she packed all this might. Like, I feel like, I don't think her and China ever had a match, but I feel like if they did, that
would have been awesome.
An epic match.
Yeah.
Like, so epic.
I think that would have been totally awesome. And I remember Jackie growing up, like, vividly, because she was black. And because she always seemed, like you said, packed might, like she always seemed really strong, like she always seemed like don't mess with her kind of thing. And now as an adult, like hearing about her and hearing about how she's like one of the toughest people in wrestling, like she did a lot before she got to WWE. Like, so just like some little acknowledgments real quick is that she was the first black women's champion in WWE, which is cool. And then she was the first woman to win the cruiserweight championship, which was cool. We'll get to that. And then she was a 2-time champion during that time, which was really, really cool. So you remember her debuting with Mark Marrow?
I do. But also you forgot, Jackie was also the first official women's referee.
Yes, she definitely was.
Referee. Like, even though like the shirt was kind of cut to fit her, whatever, she was an official referee. Like, she was a WWE official first
as a woman
to do
black
so.
woman.
Yes. So yeah, I do remember her debut with Mark Marrow. It was just like, he was just like, okay, Sable, you don't want me, I found somebody else. He came out with 2 of them. It was Jacqueline, and I forget who the other one was. I believe it was 2. But of course, Jacqueline stood out. And then that she was black, and plus she can actually wrestle. Wrestle.
And you could tell she was different from like a Sable.
Yes, different from
like
a Sable.
You just knew.
She was different from Luna. She was different from China. She was literally just different, and people love that about her. And it's just like, yeah, she was there. She did the Attitude Era girl stuff. Who didn't? All of them had to do it. But when it was ready to kick ass, she kicked ass. She kicked ass. There's no way that she didn't. There's no way that somebody can sit here and say, oh, Jacqueline's boring. She's whack. Like, she ran with the guys. Like, literally, she ran with the guys. The Dudley Boys inducted her in the Hall of Fame. And she just ran with the guys. That was them. That was Jacqueline.
Yeah.
I would have been scared of her if I was related. I would try to be her favorite relative. I don't want no smoke.
Yeah, I don't want no beef with you. I'm
Right.
glad you brought up the Attitude Era women stuff because we gotta address this because it's so ridiculous looking back. But her pay-per-view debut was at Fully Loaded, and everybody remembers this because it's that bikini match with Sable, and Sable has the handprints, which I remember vividly as a kid. Do you remember watching that?
With the trench coat. And it was just like, and King was in the ring drooling and gawking.
He is so cringe looking
So
back.
Cringe. Now, looking back, it's so cringe. It's just like, but I do remember that. And Jackie came out. I think she had like a red bikini, red or purple, one of the two colors. And everyone was like, yay, woo, woo. And then Sable would just bust open like the handprints, and everyone was just like,
yeah. And who knew that would be such an iconic moment?
Right. I feel like I was watching like soft porn.
Yes.
Like what? Usually, being that I used to watch with my brother, he'd be like, "Cover your eyes." Then like, it was none of that. It was just like it was wrestling and boobs everywhere.
Like, wait, what? Like, oh, okay.
Not thinking that we'll get boobs later on. Like it was just like, wait a minute, what? Why am I looking at that? Whatever. Okay, it's wrestling.
Oh God. Whatever. And it's funny thinking about it now. Like we're talking about a pay-per-view where a woman were like stripping their clothes basically. Like it just seems so unthinkable now.
Right. They were like pay-per-views, they used to do that.
Yeah.
like they fight now.
And that was probably the only women's match. I don't know. I will have to go back and check, but that's what women were doing. And Sable was the hottest thing. At a time we might even cover her this summer. But like she was the hottest thing. So for Jackie to be in the mix of that, and then I started to see Jackie like, okay, now I should start paying attention to her now. Like, okay, she's doing something with Sable.
Yeah.
It was good.
I agree. But they also had like with Ivory a lot. They had with Ivory a lot. But my thing is that she was also like I remember China being with the guys. Jackie was also with the guys too. In the ring with the guys, like with these dudes. Like she proved herself through and through, and she literally paved the way for a lot of women, and people don't give her recognition like they should at all.
I totally agree, and it sucks looking back at the Attitude Era, and it's always Trish and Lita.
Somebody's tired.
Always them, right? Like it's always them, but like I feel like women like Jacqueline like made them look good.
And if it wasn't for Jacqueline, if it wasn't for China, it wouldn't be a Trish and Lita.
We know that. Or women's division at that point, because I always think about Jacqueline like as a kid. Like, of course, Trish and Lita were, I hate to say they were a little bit more of my fan favorites at the time, but I feel like Jacqueline was such a good mix at the time, and she looked like us. So I always rooted for her because I was just like, like she's black, So she won her first championship against Sable.
That was a given.
Right, exactly. And it was cool. Like you could tell, like looking back, that like Jacqueline was definitely the wrestler. Sable was definitely more there for like the looks. But at the time, it was a pretty cool match.
Yeah.
Very.
I like to go back and rewatch a lot of these matches because, like watching it and being that it's so far gone now for me, like I remember, but it's just like like it's little bits and pieces that you don't pick up on when you're watching it in the moment, and then you go back and you watch it like, yo, that happened. Wait, did they edit this? Did they put this? I don't remember this happening. And it's just like Evolution. Like I was tweeting when Evolution came on. Like literally every time it comes on, I get teary-eyed. And that's just and I don't really like watching pay-per-views back. Like if once I watch it unless I like really want to go back and watch it. But then I realized like watch Evolution, Jacqueline was not there.
No.
Jacqueline was not there. Like how are you not in Evolution, the first ever women's pay-per-view? I'm like Jacqueline wasn't in it, Maurice wasn't in it, a lot of people who were good were not in that first ever and only ever women's pay-per-view, all women's pay-per-view.
We were hoping. I would like Jacqueline would have been really nice,
right,
to be a part of that, because she probably fought so much at the time for the women to do more.
Right.
Because she used to wrestle men. She did a lot, prior to WWE. She was, really a prominent, wrestler at the time, and then to be doing like bra and panty matches. I'm sure she wanted to do more. And then now the women have their own pay-per-views. Like, wait, what?
I'm not here. I mean, maybe she has her reason as to why she couldn't be there or wasn't there, but it was kind of disappointing. Like, was Naomi the only black girl in that match?
Ember.
Oh yeah, Ember. Okay. Whew. Okay, great.
Yeah. right. We gotta count. But
we did see Jacqueline in the first ever women's Royal Rumble.
Yes.
So which was nice. That was really good. But the gal definitely have to give her flowers. Like, we as a wrestling community definitely have to give Jacqueline her flowers before. Like now, don't wait.
No, yeah, I agree. And I love that. So we was toying around with the idea of having the summer kind of be about the Attitude Era. And we always put out a tweet like, what should we mention about this person when we do the spotlight episodes? And we just was like, let's do Jacqueline.
Right.
And the response we got was so like, overwhelming. Like, people are so ready for Jacqueline to get her flowers, like ASAP, which I'm like, okay, this is the time. Isn't it crazy how that happens to us, Krista?
Right, it's fate. Like, it took us forever to sit and try to record. Like, you guys, you don't understand how long we've been trying to record something for you, get something out. So we just have been kind of sparse, like, with what we were doing. And it was, like we said before, it's just a lot going on. Like, the original stuff, this was not planned. Like, literally, I want to say this was planned about a week ago, maybe a couple of days back, sometime this week, maybe. It was like, all right, cool, we'll do it. We'll just see, like, because it felt right to do it. It felt right to do it at this moment. Yes. I feel like any other stuff at this moment, we would have forced it just to try to de-escalate from the outside world. And I don't think that's fair to us, nor is it fair to anybody who listens to us.
I totally agree. And it just felt right to cover. Just like you said, it was fate. It just like felt right. And looking back on it, like, she was such a big part of those years that we was really like a fan, like when we were really like this is everything. Do you remember PMS, Pretty Mean Sisters?
I do remember people. Get back at that now. I'm like, wait a minute, their name was PMS. I'm like, what chauvinistic man wrote this because they were trying to get back at their wife. Not wife, Lord. They're trying to get back at their wife because she was going through PMS at the time. Who did this to them? I'm like, what?
They were like the mean girls. So it was Terry Runnels, Jacqueline, and I feel so bad that this other girl is escaping me, but I know she was like a white girl. I'm sorry. Put it in the comments if you know her name. But they were the Pretty Mean Sisters. So they were both bitter because Goldust and Terry had couple, and Mark Mero and Jacqueline separated. So they were like bitter. So you already know a man wrote this. They were bitter about it, and they got together and became the Pretty Mean Sisters. And then they started kind of like messing with the men and like,
with them, so matches. I do remember that.
And Terry Runnels used to tire men out before the matches, if you catch my drift. So yeah, like stuff like this is the stuff that we were watching during the Attitude Era.
Like I always say, the Attitude Era fucked us up.
Yeah.
Period. Fucked us up.
That is what we was watching, but it was cool. I mean, it was interesting because I liked Jacqueline, and she did stuff with like D'Lo Brown. And it was during that time where everything was kind of ridiculous.
Right.
But I was happy Jacqueline was kind of like a part of that.
Right. Me too, of course. Like, I feel like looking back at it now, like at her career and her journey now, I'm more appreciative of it. Like, and I feel like that with a lot of people. Like, to be honest, like I said, I was always a Rock fan. So whenever I'd be like, oh, Stone Cold this, Stone Cold that, and I'd be like, what? I mean, I knew like he had good shit. Never taken that. Like, I'm not saying I undermined his craft, undermined his talent, undermined him talking on the mic, whipping Vince's ass. Like, I've never undermined it, never, But looking back at it, I'm just like, yo, we need a Stone Cold for this era. Like, we need somebody beating bosses' asses. We need somebody like making their own rules, like not caring. We kind of had that with Becky. Becky, we miss you. But I appreciate going back and looking at the stuff that these wrestlers have done, especially in the Attitude Era. So to look back at Jackie's career and for her to be the first official in WWE, like African American woman, it's just like, yo, that's something small because it's not her wrestling, but she's in the ring with these guys. Like, she's the only female, and I'm just like, yo, that put her back. That like, I want to be the first. I want to make history. I want to, do something to where it's just like, yo, that's dope. That is dope of those wrestling girls to do. Like, yeah, watching Jacqueline, I'll watch her every day if I have to.
Yeah, she's so, and I wish I appreciated her more at the time and like rooted for her more at the time. But I mean, and that's no shade to Trish and Lita. We like, we love them for, our own reasons back then. But I wish I appreciated Jackie. So she made more history on Raw during this era too. So it wasn't called, so what we would call a fatal 4-way, it was called a 4 corners match. And it was Sable, Tori, remember Tori? Ivory, and Jacqueline for the championship. And it was the first ever for women in WWE and of course on Raw, which I thought was cool. And if you only hear these things when you like rewatch and you hear commentary and you're like, oh, okay, like, oh, that's interesting, because now we see fatal 4-ways like all the time. But to think like there had to be a first one, and Jacqueline was a part of it. And I believe Sable ended up winning, but it was cool, it was what a women's match was at the time.
Exactly. It was cool for what it was, like.
Yeah. Were you a fan of Tori?
After what she did to Kane? No.
I love it. Oh, what about Ivory?
Ivory was cool. And then she joined the Right to Censor. And I'm like, sis, what are they doing?
I'm so glad you brought that up, because so Jacqueline and Tyree, they was like a duo for a while, and then they attacked Ivory as part of Right to Censor, so they feuded with her for a little bit, because they were raunchy and Ivory wanted to straighten up the women's division. I would like to do an Ivory episode in the future, but how did you feel about Right to Censor back in the day?
The way I feel about them now.
That theme music.
Yeah, like, I think they tried to come out on the Rock one time, and Rock was not having it.
Oh no!
I can't try to come out on Stone Cold too. Like, excuse me, what? And then I had to face China. We already know what happened with that. So.
Yep.
Sorry.
You're right, girl. So then SmackDown becomes a thing. And then she wins her second championship on SmackDown against Harvey Whippleman, which is so weird. So, like, he dressed in drag and won the women's championship somehow.
Why would they even let that be a thing?
Prior to this. So, right. I was watching it like, this is a thing? Like, what is happening? So they had a match, and Jacqueline won and ended up, like, stripping Harvey Whippleman, like, down to his underwear, whatever. So this is her second championship win, which I thought was cool. But it was so weird looking back on this. I was just like, wait, why don't I remember this? And why was, like you said, like, why was this a thing? I'm like, no, that should not have happened
at all. But I feel like there was spots that they used people in the wrong way. Like I always say, like the filler spots. And I feel like putting Jacqueline against Harvey Whippleman, somebody who's not even a damn wrestler, it was just like you're really wasting her talent.
Yeah,
Like,
I agree.
You're wasting with her abilities. Like, there's no point in wasting her. Like, have her wasting on the show.
I agree. And then she goes on to feud with Luna, who I like. Also, wish they did more with back then, and she was with the Brood during this time, which I like completely forgot about.
Me too. That's what I'm thinking. Like, wait, she was?
Yeah, her and Gangrel. Yeah, I guess this is when Christian and Edge kind of left and did their own thing, and it was Gangrel and Luna. They was the Brood, and they were like spitting blood on each other and kissing. And then I found out that they were married in real life.
He lost his wife. Oh my gosh.
Oh yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah. So that was a very like, oh okay, I didn't know that. But it was cool. I thought it was cool. Like looking back, I was like, this could have actually worked. But I don't know why Luna never worked in WWE the way like she could have. But so they had a couple matches, but it didn't really like last like long. Right. And then she ended up losing the title to Stephanie.
Of course she did.
Remember that everybody interfered in DX.
Mm-hmm. And they kind of jumped her.
Yeah, pretty much, and she lost.
But don't worry, Lita got Stephanie back on behalf of Jacqueline.
Yep. And then she feuds with Lita, asked for the title a few times, and then they team up against Right to Censor, Jacqueline and Lita for a little bit, and then I forgot about this too. She joined the APA for a while.
Oh yes,
I forgot about that.
I think that's what made me love her more because I loved the APA. Like, oh, you heard it. I'm like, yeah,
it was so badass, yo.
Yo, I love the APA. Like Bradshaw and Farouk did no wrong in my eyes. They were always funny. Their bar fights, their bodyguard services, like they did no wrong. So once I think Jacqueline joined, I feel like there was a scene where she was either drinking beer with them or she was playing poker with them, and she literally surprised the hell out of Bradshaw. Farouk was, oh yeah, she good, she could come, she in.
I love that. I love that.
I love hearing their music hit. Like I think I got really excited when it was like old school Raw. Oh no, they was teaching the Ascension how to pay respects to the one who came before them. And Bradshaw got up off the thing and he was like, oh, you're not going to say disrespect. And you heard Farouk's music hit. And I was like, oh my God.
Yes, I love that.
And that fucking clothesline, Jesus. Bradshaw clothesline from hell.
I know that. Oh, yeah,
for sure. Talking about it, right?
Yeah. Oh, my God. I can only imagine. Mm-hmm. And I love that Jacqueline held her own with them. She was like, yep, I'm in the APA. That's right. That's right. And then she was a trainer on Tough Enough.
She was.
I was like, wow, like I just like shout out to our Twitter followers, yo. They and our Instagram followers, they definitely be remembering, they be putting
y'all the truth, y'all. We love y'all.
We really do. We really do. And so then she was not wrestling for a while, which I kind of remember a little bit. But then she was a part of a championship match at Survivor Series, a 6-pack challenge, which is interesting because the belt was vacated due to China leaving. She vacated the title. And then they did this, but she didn't end up winning. Trish ended up winning, Trish Stratus. And then she challenged Trish Stratus to have vengeance, but she didn't win. And then she kind of disappears a little bit. And then in 2002, she becomes a referee.
Yeah.
Like, so how cool was it? Because everybody was like a guest referee, you know, sometimes, but like you said earlier, like she was a legit referee.
She was. I feel like that was so dope. I feel like because she was the first African American referee in a ring, it gave me my aspirations of being the first African American broadcast announcer for WWE.
Nice.
Like, I still dream that. Like, I still want to be sitting there next to Michael Cole, next to Corey Graves, Byron Saxton, or next to Samoa Joe, like, or whoever else comes along, and just like matches, be as passionate, be as so raw and real as we can possibly be, and just let it out. And I feel like Jacqueline is definitely that motivation behind me having an aspiration. Like, I'll even be a referee now. Like, no, maybe not, because I got to stretch, exercise, and stuff. Nope.
Like,
but definitely, like, her doing that at that time. Mind you, we're 12 at that time. To have that mindset for a 12-year-old, even up to however old we are now, we're not going to discuss that. It's really inspiring, and I really feel like the representation definitely matters. And if you don't have that representation, you're going to get nowhere. Like, you're just going to feel lost. Like, you're going to get nowhere. So yeah, I literally love that.
Yeah, me too. And then she continued feuding with Trish, Victoria, Jazz. And then in 2004, she won the Cruiserweight Championship against Chavo Guerrero for the Cruiserweight. I mean,
that I didn't know.
But it's like, I wish they talked about it more, because they like, oh, China won, a men's belt, but so did Jacqueline.
Yeah, like, give Jacqueline her flowers. A Hall of Fame ring is dope. Induction is dope, but give her flowers. Like, they didn't even mention that in her Hall of Fame vignette.
Right.
They didn't mention that. I don't think Jacqueline mentioned it. Maybe she did. But I have to go back and watch it. Like, give her flowers. Like, don't shortchange her. Please do not shortchange.
I agree. I totally agree. She definitely deserves more. And then she comes back for you talked about her getting inducted in 2016. How did you feel hearing the news that she was getting inducted?
I was happy.
Me too.
I was happy. Like, I'm just like, dope. Like, she literally paved the way. We got representation again. I'm all for representation.
Yeah.
Me also for representation. So that's like our word. Maybe we should do like the Bellas, and every time we say representation, somebody has to drink.
I know, right? I love that. We say it a lot because it's important.
It's like I said, it just put that battery in my back. I know it put that battery in a lot of little girls' backs, and that push. They give them that push to be like, listen, if Jacqueline can do it, and she's been this way for so long, and she let nobody deter her or steer her wrong, I could do it too. I'm happy that she was inducted. Definitely happy that she was inducted. How did you feel when you heard the news? I think we texted each other. Did we not?
Yeah, I don't remember. I remember being excited because I was like, oh, like, yay, Jacqueline, like. Yeah. Like, she definitely deserved it. And the Attitude Era, I remember her very vividly, and I was like, okay, yeah, she definitely deserves it. And then just hearing more about her, like, on podcasts and stuff, and about how tough she was and how she really held her own in situation as a Black woman, like, I can only imagine how hard it was for her, going through the ranks back then in the late 80s, early 90s, and mid 90s or whatever.
Against her, she's a woman and she's Black on top of that.
Yes, and the fact that she was able to hold her own, where there's grown ass men that legit say that she will like fuck them up and like they don't mess with her, like So even like everything you said about her inspiring you, and I'm so glad that we were able to see that as a kid, and not just the Trishas and the Litas and the Sables, and we got Jacqueline, and eventually we got Jazz. So yeah, it was dope.
It was dope. I loved it. I don't feel like Jacqueline's name speaks for itself. Like, if you check her records, check everything, her name literally speaks for itself. There's not much or any negativity at all when it comes down to Jacqueline. And anybody who has anything negative to say about Jacqueline, come see me.
Yeah.
Come see me. Yeah. But this was a fun episode about her.
It really was, and I loved it. And our followers also wanted us to mention that she did really cool things before and after WWE. We cover what we witnessed, but she did do really cool things before and after. So definitely look that up. And yeah, this was fun. I'm so glad we got to cover her.
So stay tuned. This is only episode 1 of our Summer Attitude Era series, which we are so happy for because
it's so fun going back.
As you can see, P is wearing her 9th Wonder of the World shirt. R.I.P. China. I'm wearing this might be a newer Jeff Hardy shirt, but it's a Jeff Hardy shirt.
He's from our era, yo.
Of the Attitude Era. So I feel like we should just wear Attitude Era shirts this whole time.
Yes.
WWE
definitely should.
All my money. Just take it.
Yeah, I mean, what else are we spending money on these days?
Right? Shoes. I just bought 2 pairs, but that's neither here nor there.
Yes. Okay. Yes.
But
I want to thank our Twitter followers so much, our subscribers, everyone that rated us on Apple Podcasts, everyone that recommends us to other people. The love that we've been getting, it's just so great. And I cannot thank y'all enough because there's a lot of shit going on. Krista and I really do everything we can to make this work. And the support we have from y'all really, really helps a lot.
It keeps us going. Oh my gosh. Besides, it's days where I'm literally texting P recording today is not it for me. I'm not doing that. I go on Twitter and I see all the love and support. And it's just we have to keep going. It's going to be days times this stuff gets hard. And you just have to remember that we have to keep going, keep pushing forward, keep striving for the next and for the best. And not to be biblical, but I'm going to leave y'all with my favorite verse from the Bible because I feel like it literally speaks to everything that's going on, which is Philippians 4:13. Is I can do all things through Christ who strengthened me. Whoever is religious or believe in the Bible, please take that and go with it and be great. Just be great. That's all I can say. Anything else before I wrap up?
No, thank you for that, Krista. Oh, and listen to Krista B sound off about Black Lives Matter and everything going on right now. And yeah, and thank you for that, Krista.
You're welcome.
Needed that scripture real quick.
And on that note, it's your girl Krista B
and Queen PR,
and we are out.